That was a nice little invisible fence. Good morning. We'll call the meeting to order. We'll have the pledge and then a moment of prayer afterwards. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor.
Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the awesome day that we had yesterday. And Father, we're mindful of the good times and the times of struggle. And we thank you that you're there with us through those times. I pray today for wisdom as these commissioners make decisions. I pray, Lord, you'll give them your wisdom. And Father, help them to just know your heart today. And Father, we thank you that we can have this time to ask this of you, and we know that your word says that we just need to ask. And so, Father, pour out your blessing of wisdom today in this room and in the decisions that are made. And we're careful to say thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Off to the minister.
Roll call.
Commissioner Carl.
Here.
Commissioner Walters.
Here.
Commissioner Altman. Here. Commissioner Smith. Present. Commissioner Burgo.
Yep. Is there any corrections, additions to the consent agenda? If not, we'll move forward. Reading the cash balances.
Okay, we have $23,021.50 in the general fund. We have $75,516.56 in the unallocated for a total of $98,538.06. And that's before the bills.
Actually, correction on that, that's after the
I was
bills.
going to say, whoops.
I changed the amount.
I'm just reading my teleprompter.
My bad.
After the bills.
I updated it. What's the number?
You did that on purpose, didn't you?
I did, I tried to confuse you. It worked.
Just go ahead and do finance report. Go ahead. You want to do finance?
Okay. We've got several items, a couple of that aren't on any of your notes that came up. First one is Justin Snyder from Construction Codes has requested some budget amendments, and he's going to need to move some money around from 101-410-932-000, $500, and he's moving from 101-371-706.001, $300, and from 101-371-801.000, $250, and from 101-371-933-000, $1,050. And these are to allow for the purchase of those computers in the office. And I make a motion to approve the budget amendments.
Support. The motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we have the HRA plan from Cadillac, and it's been, we need to have Barusco review it when he does return. We'll need a motion to allow you to sign the documents, Terry, so I'll make that motion.
Support.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
And
Opposed?
just so you know, Don, Brushko did get back with Amy and I, and he said it was reviewed to his standards, where he thought it should be, so.
So we're looking at, I've got to be gone the day that they're coming down. So we're scheduled, Amy's going to schedule it for the 20th, correct? And then we'll meet with them then, if that's in their time.
Yeah. A lot of the documents that I was given were the ones for the active at work and for the retiree supplemental. That's the two you're referring to, right?
No, it's the supplement that I sent out that same day with the 3 attachments. To you, Terry, Amy, and Brushko. Those 3 right there.
Yeah, those are different than the ones I was given. Slightly.
Did you get that? Did you get the email? Did you get? Okay, you look at it. Yeah, you guys were all on it.
I also thought we should have had one for the courts, separate from the other 87. But
Okay.
I think I'll figure it out.
Okay.
Okay. Sheriff Shea has requested to install mobile laptops in each of the patrol units, and the cost is not to exceed $22,155, and this is 100% reimbursement from LATPA funding. However, we will have to front the money, 100% of it. And we expect this, though, to not be a long, drag-out circumstance. He expects it to be pretty normal time frame on getting them, the reimbursement. So I'll make the motion that we authorize the sheriff to purchase the laptops for each cruiser.
And I just want to add that that's through FEMA, that's through GRAD, and a lot of those grants we wouldn't get if we didn't have emergency management in place. And that's why we're trying to catch up and get all that stuff done. So it needs to be done, and we need to have a person there.
Support.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Under Sheriff Hartwell has requested he be allowed to fill 2 vacant full-time positions, a resignation and a disability claim. These positions would be filled by internal part-time and corrections officers, which in turn would necessitate hiring 2 new part-time corrections officers. And I'll make the motion that we authorize under Sheriff Hartwell to hire the personnel that he's requested.
Support.
The motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Matt McGordy came in, he missed the finance meeting, but he asked if we talked to Laura, and he talked to you, didn't he? Yeah, me, and there are 3 cameras in the jail that are causing a lot of problems, and he's worked out a funding for it. His request, without reading all the detail, is the cost is $2,402.98, and he can use the money that he set aside from the Secures grant to pay the cost of it. He then can reimburse $1,000 from the canteen fund in order to make up the total $2,400. So I make a motion that we authorize Matt McGordy to take the action necessary to repair the cameras.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, here in Blondie, the Housing Authority has asked to get their documents updated. I met with her last week, and Terry, it's documents that you and I have to sign. So I didn't check out whether or not he had to have a motion, but I'm going to make it anyway, that we authorize Terry and myself to sign the documents for the Housing Authority.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And there was one other, the bills. I make a motion we pay the bills. Support.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And that's, unless I missed something, that's all I got on here.
Moving along to approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance to look at those from February 25th, 2014.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as printed.
Motion is supported. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments.
Morning. Cable and I have a couple little things just to kind of share with you really quickly from MSU Extension. We have a mock interview day next week, and this year is our first year. We have Gladwin and Beaverton kids were invited, and we have local people coming to do the interviews and to critique the resumes from the kids from 3 or 4 different counties and high schools. And if you'd like to work with us, it's next Friday morning from 8 to noon, and just help with the kids. But just to let you know too, we have 11 high school students are going to be there this year. This year, Beaverton was invited too, but they have BPA state competition. So, but next year they got the date out for next
You
year.
said this Friday?
Next Friday, the 21st. And so this, I'm really excited about being involved with this for our county and the surrounding counties too. Tonight's our big annual livestock banquet at the Glavin High School. We have about 400 people invited, kids, parents, and the buyers in the banquet. So that's always a big turnout and a big promotion thing for 4-H. And then we're working with the Gladwin schools to do the conservation tour here down at the city park in May. And just kind of give you a couple of updated things that are happening with extension at 4-H.
We said we were going to be quick. You have 2 handouts in front of you that are of a couple of programs that I'm working with. That is also working with the Farm Show. It started out, most of you know, Farm and Garden, or the Farmers Appreciation Day. I believe this is the 38th year. So, and we've changed quite a bit over the past 5 or 6 years, moving to the arena, the Gladwin Community Arena. It's given us an opportunity to expand. We are now the Farm and Garden Show. Just some quick stats. Again, you have the flyer there so you can see the date. I'd really welcome all of you to attend that day. I know many of you have been there in the past. The last 2 years we sold out of exhibitor spaces, which is right around 60 exhibitors. We had 678 people actually sign in, and we know that there were more than that. We're estimating somewhere over 700, and that's pretty good for a small town show. We had visitors from 14 different counties last year. We did some survey work too, and 285 of those attendees either farmed or owned farm land, and 311 of those gardens. So that's why we transitioned into a farm and garden show, just trying to keep it going, keep the interest up. And in 2012, we had 626 people registered from 12 different counties. So we are growing a little bit, and again, I would welcome all of you to attend that. It's a great day. You can have a great lunch from Eagles and Falmouth if you haven't had that opportunity. The other thing that is coming up. Yes?
Could you give what those statistics, those are interesting statistics for us to be able to take to our townships, and so if anyone could make copies of that, I would appreciate it.
I will send that to Amy.
Okay.
That's great, you bet.
Thank you.
Another thing that's coming up is it's interesting, and I would invite all of you to attend that as well if you want to know what a whole breeding sonnets exam is like. We actually have a, Sharon, it would be a good day for you. Last year we had over 20 bulls right here in Gladwin, and it's probably the 5th year that we've done that. I'm guessing a little bit, it could be a year either way. But if you estimate that the average herd in the U.S. is around 40 cows, and a calf is worth, in today's world, almost $1,000, a bull breeding sonnets exam to check and make sure that your bull's doing its job is worth quite a bit of money. It's in this area as well. And that clinic has been growing. When we first started, we had probably 7 or 8 bulls, and last year, like I said, over 20. So the Gladwin date is April 11th, and it's out at the Dairy Grill Beef Farm on Hoffman Road. And if any of you would like to attend, actually we would be willing to show you around. We have a veterinarian from MSU come up with vet students, and it's fun to watch the vet students run around and do what they're told. So again, thank you. The last couple of months have been rough for all of us. I'm glad that you are all here and healthy, and we appreciate the relationship with MSU Extension and what you guys have been doing. So thank you.
We want to thank you and Bev for all the work you do and stuff, so really appreciate it.
We've been around for a while. Actually,
Yeah.
celebrate 16 years this month. So,
34.
yeah,
I think.
34.
Thank you.
Good job.
Is there any other public comments?
Yes. Still a check.
Mr. Miller.
How you doing? I live in Gladwin Township for almost a year now. I've been involved in the zoning ordinance issue against me and my family. Before I state an opinion, I'd like to bring the new commissioners up to speed in this case. The case stems from an ordinance violation regarding a 40-acre private property farm belonging to us that has been used for years as a popular venue for mud bugs. In the summons and complaint dated April 24, 2013, it is alleged that the defendant, my wife, Denise Miller, owner of the property in question, on Nettleton Road, is hosted along with me, her husband, Kelly Miller, mud bogs on private property. which the county says is a violation of zoning ordinance. In the complaint, the plaintiff, County of Gladwin, asked the court to confirm that mud bogging is a nuisance per se and is a violation of the county zoning ordinance. They've also asked for an injunction against the activity on our property or any premises in Gladwin County unless a permit is obtained. For many years, the mud bogs have been a staple at the farm. In fact, aside from the fact that it's private patented property over which the county has no jurisdiction, it's been going on longer than the county zoning has been in place, at least since '99, and the county zoning ordinance was enacted in 2007. According to the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, PA 110 of 2006, activities should be legal non-conforming use as conformed by written statements in file. So why does complaint focus on mud bogging as a nuisance per se and not a fair festival aspect? In any case, non-conforming legal use should apply. We have obviously complied with requests, parking, sanitation, noise reduction, which shows cooperation. This lawsuit was initiated by the County of Gladwin through its zoning department. The county, in essence, gave the authority to the department to enforce the rules how they see fit, even to the point of initiating litigation, all without a vote. Think about the implications of creating case law regarding mud bog activity, and more importantly, the dangerous potential in any bureaucratic office to exert a police-like authority over a situation involving what appear to be separate incidents that are criminal in nature to punish landowners where law enforcement was not able to, using the methods employed by the duties assigned to them by your local government. That's the part that should be concerning. When unelected bureaucrats appointed by the legislative body of a municipality, in this case, Gladwin County, are free to initiate lawsuits without a vote by the legislative body, in this case, the Board of Commissioners, we have lost our representation. We elect the county commissioners to represent us, not to turn over the checkbook to any of its unelected bureaucratic officers, in this case, the zoning department. We elected them to make financial decisions with our tax money, and in this case, they have failed us. They have started a lawsuit without a vote. In addition, I have pulled the case file, and there is only one reported complaint documented in this file, and it is from 2010. Why wait until 2013 to initiate a lawsuit? And it appears from the notes in this file that if we pay $972 for permits, the illegal activity will suddenly become legal for us. Why on earth should we be forced to ask permission to use our land? And how does a nuisance activity suddenly become allowable after paying an exorbitant fee for such permits as Fair Festival and RV Park? For months I've asked this board to respond to this lawsuit and to respect the rights of our property. And for months I have been told that this board has no authority. But you are the elected representatives. You do have the authority to initiate and drop lawsuits. And if you don't, I can't believe that anyone in this county can have faith in this board and their ability to represent us. And you want us to approve a Headley override? How do we know you would have the authority to use our tax dollars in our best interest? If you imply that you can't even drop a lawsuit initiated in your name. Several years ago, there was a lawsuit that was dropped right here in these very commissioners' chambers. It was a lawsuit where the commissioners were suing the sheriff and undersheriff for their vehicles. The county was suing itself, which in itself was ludicrous, but the suit was dropped after a motion by one of our new commissioners, Sharon Smith. And it was voted by roll call vote to drop that suit. So I don't believe that you don't have the authority to drop this lawsuit. And that is what I'm asking you to do here today. Someone in the interest of property rights in the county's financial state, make the motion to drop this suit. Will any of you do that today? If not, then with all due respect, we will make sure everyone knows just how this county chooses to spend our money, suing a private property owner for enjoying his own property, and demanding money to make illegal activities legal. I will be fair, we won't turn up the volume until after the next meeting. But if this case is not dropped at the next meeting, or at least addressed, everyone in this county will hear about this case in great detail and daily. I promise you that.
We understand your comments and your feelings, but my understanding is still under litigation, so there's nothing that we can really do yet. So until do you still have an attorney?
Yeah. Costing me dearly.
As soon as we get some direction of where that's going to go, then we'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask a question. What kind of permits were you required to get?
At this point, nobody knows. Special use is all we're being told. As well as rules of there will be no camping on my property. I have to sign jurisdiction over to an inspector at all times. Stuff like that. I have the letter from Mr. Jacobson in my folder if you'd like to read that.
And how many mud bogs do you have during the course of the year?
It depends on the year. Weather plays a big role. You know, it costs a lot of money to pump water, stuff like that, so we generally, later in the summer, you know, it's scattered out. It's generally in the spring, we might have 6, 7 at the most. You know, but a lot of times it's just the local people anymore that we're at a barbecue, bring our trucks out and, you know, just be social with our group. It's our hobby, it's what we do. You know, and it's a big influence on this town. You can ask Fred Schaefer, you know, at the fairgrounds. You know, I mean, the volume community around Gladden County is big. It's real big.
Do they have one at the fairgrounds?
Yeah, they have compost, but that's not what I'm doing. It's all free play. You don't have a set fee you gotta go or nothing like that.
Do you get any money from the participants?
We were doing donations to help people around the community with house fires and stuff like that. It wasn't all the time, it was just randomly, but we've, since this litigation, decided that it'll never happen again. So,
Excuse me, is it Miller, is that yours?
yes.
I have read about your lawsuit, and I'm just going to tell you, I have been to your mud bog before, and if I could get a copy of your letter. You said you had a copy.
Yeah, I can get that to you.
I'd like to read that. I was on the zoning board of appeals for a while, so I'd like to read that.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Yes. Mr. Gold.
Good morning, and like Cable mentioned, I think it's wonderful to see a full body of commissioners and everyone healthy again. I just wanted to stop by and say thank you on behalf of the Gladden County Economic Development Corporation. I'm the current chair of that organization, and we appreciate your support. There's a lot of wonderful things that are happening through the EDC, and Bob Balzer is here today, and I'm certain he's going to offer you a couple of those updates, such as the website development. But in addition to that, we have a lot of other projects that are occurring in partnership with Michigan Works that helps create a position. It's been a wonderful partnership that allows us to have a full-time EDC director, and that partnership would not be possible if not for the support of the county commissioners as well. So we want to say thank you for that. And Bob has been doing a wonderful job of visiting the community as a whole, and the township boards, and letting keep folks up to speed on what's occurring within the EDC. And we just can't say enough from our board's perspective about what he's doing. So we appreciate your work, but his as well. And then a couple of projects in partnership with the college that are occurring, including the National Science Innovation Grant. We received a year and a half ago a substantial grant in order to create a plastics curriculum for the substantial plastics economics in our community. And we're at the point now where we have created and already delivered what we call rapid response courses, which are 6-week courses to allow individuals to become educated in the field of welding, in the field of advanced manufacturing, and in the field of CNC machining. And those are large cries from a manufacturing base, so we're meeting those needs. And then likewise, we'll be taking and approving very shortly through our curriculum committee an associate's degree in plastics and a 2-year degree in plastics technology that will transfer to Ferris State University's 4-year program seamlessly, allowing an individual to go basically from entry-level steps all the way through this career ladder in the plastics field. And the college is in the process of looking at developing some substantial programming as well in advanced manufacturing. That is a huge need in our community. So I just wanted you to be aware that all of this sort of intertwines and we work together as we think about the college and Michigan Works and the EDC and your involvement with that as well. And then finally, some of you were involved with our Gladwin County Endowment Fund event that was held, was it last Saturday? Last Saturday, right? So at that event, we were able to raise around $10,000, which is substantial. We have been able to do a number of grants in our community, and we have that money will go into the savings account, which is very close to topping $1 million, and we'll have a nice announcement, we hope, soon through the community and Gladwin County Record about that. And that's a huge number. That's a big amount of money, and will allow us to create our own community foundation at that point, where we can involve even more community members to be part of that. And it's exciting. And just for those who are not familiar with the foundation, then I'll stop, and that is that that $1 million is a savings account. And it earns interest, of course, every year. It's professionally managed as one of many accounts at the Midland Area Community Foundation. It's our fund. It's spent in Gladwin County, and many of those grants have been filtered through this organization. We thank you for that as well. But that savings account draws interest. We save the interest and spend a little bit of the interest every year into grants. This year, we will be able to make about $30,000 in grants into Gladwin County. So it's imperative that we grow that fund for the long term, so that we can grow the amount of grants that we can give back to the county. But it's great news for the community as a whole. So thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you, Scott.
Chrissy, did you have something?
You also have the board's approval to borrow money for the original taxes, 2013 taxes, not to exceed $2,500,000.
I'll make that motion.
Support. Motion support, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution,
Motion carried.
correct?
Do you have that resolution second? Roll call?
Commissioner Varro?
Yes.
Commissioner Walters?
Yes.
Commissioner Opman?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner Virgo?
Yes.
Thank you. Communications, their season's Beaverton Activity Center, March 10th. April 30th, Gladwin County Zoning Department Annual Report. Coming up. And we had a chance to look through the committee meetings. Anyone want to address finance? Mr. Bergel already did. County affairs and everything such.
County Affairs meeting will be at 9 o'clock, and that's going to be posted as a committee of the whole. Okay? So that hopefully if all of our commissioners can be there to respond. And the one tomorrow is we sent out a letter requesting one member from every township and city board to attend the meeting. And Yvette Keast is doing a mock-up of a flyer. She should have that temporary, the mock-up one with her tomorrow so that we can look at that, and it's to bring the townships in so that they understand why, all of the reasons why County Affairs is requesting the Headley override. Okay. And then next Wednesday, on the 19th, is it 6 or 6:30, Amy?
6:30.
6:30. Is an open public forum, and we're asking citizens of Gladwin County to come so that, and they will be given an opportunity to ask questions. They will be given an opportunity to have input. One of the things we had discussed was we wanted members of Gladwin County to be able to say to us what's important to you. If we have to make cuts, what do you want us? What's important that we have to keep? That kind of thing. And so hopefully the meeting will not, Dennis has asked me to chair it, so I can guarantee you it's not going to run until midnight. I would fall asleep. But anyway, hopefully there will be people here. It will be held in this room. And the idea, the purpose behind that is, since the Headley override passage or failure affects every person that lives in Gladwin County, and you think about that, that's a pretty important kind of thing to have information about. And so we're having that meeting on the 19th, and you all are welcome to be here. And it'll begin at 6:30.
Data?
Yes, we had a data committee meeting, and we have some important, we have some, Ray Hartwell was in, and we're looking at things about dealing with IT. And for everyone who works in the courthouse and the annex and the jail, they all know we do not have enough IT services. So consequently, problems are not being addressed in a timely fashion because we don't have enough people to do that kind of thing. Also, Bob Fry has ordered computers. We have 38 computers we have to have replaced by June. He shopped around and actually, I believe, spent less than $14,000. Yes, less than $14,000 for all of these computers. IT Right will come up and they will be here, and so installation, they'll install 4 computers on a Monday. And then Tuesday, Bob Fry will be responding to the glitches that have to be taken care of. On Wednesday, they will install 4 more computers. Because to download, to change the data, to, back, and it's all, every time Bob starts talking, I know that he's using English language, but it's over my head, and most of that's, I don't understand. But it is working, and he's also, Ray, did he get the cords hooked up for get the removal of the extension cord in the courthouse? Was that taken?
I don't know that that's been done yet. I'll have to double check on that.
Okay, I would appreciate knowing that.
The other project's done.
Okay. And that's the data.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith. Brad Lowry, still here? He's still out there. Want to give a little update of what's going on and what's taking place? Emergency management?
For those of you who met about a week ago or a week and a half ago in the chambers, we talked about the importance of the Emergency Operation Plan book for Gladwin County. It's ready, it's done. I talked to Lieutenant Sperry yesterday. I said it's done, it's all up. If we should have a disaster now, we can go to the state. The chairperson authorizing it, we can go to the state. If we have to go beyond that, we can go to FEMA federal and request monies. So I'm excited about this. In between, I found out that the EMD, the emergency management, I know I'm talking that language now myself, but
You're back to, you're talking alphabet real well.
acronyms, yes. I'm excited, but I know that the spin-off in that position is unbelievable. So mostly I'm excited about this being done, and thank you for your support. Any questions of me?
Oh, are they gonna mandate that we do it electronically, Brad?
You know, I haven't seen that anywhere, but that's what they're saying. So that's going to be a question for me, as kind of spirit, is this, where does it say that? Do you have to do that?
So all that fear I put in the Beaverton Township meeting last night about if we have a tornado or a major flood, I just call them, see if they,
Right now, we're gonna go with this, you know, and between the chairperson and myself, and Lieutenant Speary, that's our procedure to go for state assistance. Other than that, I don't know the answer, but I wouldn't back down on it. I don't know.
so I scared them all.
Good, that's all right. We should be. This is very important. Our county is very important. So that's the reason why I think we're here, given our time.
And, you know, I want to thank Brad and Lieutenant Fury for bringing up from the state police all this information. We have to catch up and get things done. We know the flood season's coming up, and we want to be ready for that. And Brad's working on that, and Lieutenant's helping with that. So. And then we have some more information for you next meeting. So, and things is coming up. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you.
Communications from commissioners. Commissioner Smith. Keep it right on the line here.
I attended the county affairs meeting on February 26, 2014. Work began on gathering information for the Headley override vote in May. I also attended the Buckeye Township meeting on the same day. On the 28th, Sandy Altman and I met with Director of Gladwin County Libraries, Bruce Guy, discussed ways to ensure a positive result to the Headley override vote in May. I chaired a county affairs meeting on March 5th. There was extensive discussion on an informational brochure for the Headley vote. I attended the Tobacco Township meeting on March 10th last night. Had two questions. One, did the county board put in a request to the state for ORV connections on state highways? Mr. Walters?
I'm sorry.
Sharon, as I remember, I made the motion and it was passed, and it was like 6 months ago or so.
Well, it would have been, I think it was supposed to have been done in December.
That was what Joel Johnson and
Yes.
Josh were working on.
Yes.
Yeah, when they requested, because I got Ridge Road, for example, coming across
Yes.
M30,
And I
there's a
think
job.
that's part of the plan that's supposed to be submitted by April 1st to the state for their review and
Okay,
change.
and that was the question they asked because the county had to approve that going forward.
I'm sorry, I was trying to keep ahead on some other things here.
It's okay, Mr. Walters.
We
I have
took
another
and got
question.
with, Doug is gone. Amy took in, we've got Secord Bentley and Secord, Butler. And we have that all being drafted up.
Okay,
And it'll be submitted to the road commission, and then from there.
okay, so the response is yes, the board has done what they were supposed to do. Okay.
And it's been forwarded to the next step.
Yep. And so then the second question, Bill Clark thought that there had been a Tobacco Township-wide dog census done 4 or 5 years ago. There were over 300 dogs found via the census that were not licensed. Were these owners fined and licenses issued? And so far, only 54 dog licenses have been sold through the township treasurer for 2014.
That would be through the township alone, but we have a lot that were purchased through the county.
Correct,
And I
that's
think-
what I said, it was the township. But the
I can give
question
you
was,
the number for those.
the question was, the 300 dogs that the township found,
That would be animal control.
okay,
They would have submitted those licenses through district court, and then they would have an option to purchase a dog license for the delinquent fee of $40, possibly removing the ticket. But I don't have those stats.
okay. So I will have to go to animal control, get that question answered.
Last meeting, there was some direction from the animal control officer of people that he was training to do a survey.
Right, but he's training for a county-wide survey, and last night they were specifically talking about Tobacco Township. Okay.
I will check, Sharon, on that for the number of delinquent licenses after that was done for tobacco. That will give you an idea.
Say that again, please.
I will check and see how many delinquent licenses were purchased for Tobacco Township
That would,
and give
that
you
would,
those numbers.
okay, I would appreciate that, okay? And they also said that the new road commission manager will take office on March 17th, but he could not remember who, the name of the...
Dave? I think it's Dave.
That rap or something like
Yeah.
that.
I just got that letter yesterday.
Okay. Okay. The ribbon cutting ceremony for the Beaverton Fire Hall will be March 29th. It's a Saturday at 1 p.m. Everyone is invited to attend, and the firemen have everything moved into the new facility. When you take advantage of the time to check that out. It's an absolutely beautiful building.
7:30 p.m.
1 p.m.
On 329.
Okay, and I will be attending a Beaverton Activity Center meeting tonight at 6 p.m. and all library board members have been asked to be there. So that's looking at progress done on the Beaverton Activity Center. And Beaverton won the first game of the regional playoffs last night by 1 point. Realize I'm not representing Beaverton City, Mr. Bruno, but it's a real proud, very proud night. They play tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Traverse City St. Francis. Go Red.
Go Red.
That ends my report.
Thank you,
A little bit of enthusiasm.
Commissioner Carroll.
I attended the county affairs committee meeting with Commissioner Smith, and the meeting seemed to go quite well. There is some interest up in townships over the Headley rollback. I've got some calls on it. I think the information in the paper and the announced meeting dates have been a plus on that end, and I expect we'll see some pretty good crowd probably for that meeting. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Burlow.
Attended Groton Township meeting as well as Beaverton Township meeting. And at the Beaverton Township meeting, I did discuss the fact that our emergency management plan had to be accepted by FEMA in order to support us if we did have a disaster, that we would be eligible then for funds for the feds. And Brad, of course, has kept us in the loop on that. And it is an important point. I know I was being a little facetious a while ago about, but the straight of it is, without that plan being accepted by them, we would, if we have a disaster, we would not have any way to bail out of it without any federal help. As to the other topics, it was discussed about like the fire, the ribbon cutting for the fire last evening. And all reports that I've heard, I haven't been in the new building still, but I understand it's something else. I will be there, of course. But as far as the Beaver, I pay taxes in Beaver school systems, so I want you to know that when Gladwin plays Beaverton, I don't get involved. I coached varsity football at Beaverton in '97 season and '98 season. I coached Gladwin varsity football in '99 and 2000. So I'm neutral. It's like kissing your sisters here.
Go Red.
That's it.
The official, this is a ribbon cutting ceremony, and the official opening will be later in warm weather, and they will have things for kids to do, and very involved. but that's waiting for all the landscaping to be done, et cetera. But this is the ribbon cutting, they're there, and they've had runs out of that building.
When is that ribbon cutting, Jan?
March 29th at 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Altman.
On Thursday, the 27th of February, I attended the Region 70 Michigan Works Board of Local Elected Officials meeting in West Branch. That's really some heavy-duty information up there for me to get involved in. It'll take me a bit, but we reviewed and approved the financial report, the labor market report, and the system plan. Like I said, that's a lot for me to learn up there. The only thing that I can tell you for sure I walked out of that day was a new shirt. So I got a new red shirt to wear one of these days. On the 4th of March, I attended a graduation of the recovery program at the district court here at the Gladwin building, which I thought was very, very interesting. A big, giant commitment on the hat, those people that participated in it, and I was pretty glad to be there and see that in action. I attended the Billings Township Board meeting last night. Things seem to have really smoothed out there, which is good for them. The one question they brought to my attention was their concern over the enforcement of building and demolition permits on the county level. And I said, well, I don't know too much about that yet either, but I would bring it to the attention of the commissioners today. One question I have is, and I don't even know if this is anything to do with the commissioners, but Terry was on the lake board out there. Do I replace him on the lake board? Okay.
Can we just get a quick motion to that effect for the, who will post that?
Yes.
Lana,
Well,
recommendation there?
whoever lives in that district, just like I have Sage.
Isn't the president of the lake board here?
Yes.
I think she's talking about the lake improvement
Through
board,
through
the weed
drain
control and,
He takes a recommendation from us,
Okay.
and it should be somebody from that district.
So their meeting is tomorrow night, so I'll go to that
I
tomorrow.
would recommend that Commissioner Altman be the person that takes and represents the authority down there. Motion is supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. And then I attended the Bentley Township meeting last night also, and they just run a real short, smooth meeting. Their only issue at this time is the cost of blacktop. They are interested in blacktopping 1 mile of road, but the cost of the blacktop is pretty substantial to them. So they're not sure if they're going to be able to do that this year or not. They're waiting till the new guy gets in place and they can get a bid on that. At both meetings, I passed out packets of information about the renewal of the millage money, and I included an article that was in last week's Gladwin Record, and then some other information that I found to kind of explain what the Headley is and what the override means and how much it would cost each homeowner here in Gladwin County. I also passed out flyers on the farmers market and the celebrating men in your life that will be held at the Beaverton Community Center. And tomorrow morning I'll be going to the EDC meeting, so that's my report.
Thank you. I've got lots of stuff. Attended the city meeting, Gladwin City. I went to the pipeline safety, being a fireman and everything. There was a lot of fire departments there from Gladwin County. It's to do with all these pipelines and safety, and the sheriff was there, and Mr. Brubaker from Central Dispatch. Very informative, good thing to attend. Finance, the 6th. Number of meetings with Brad Lauer on emergency management. We had a CERT meeting with the volunteers on Saturday. I have a vets meeting yet today. And also I have I couldn't find my sheet for the sports complex. Who was the other alternate on that?
I can't remember.
I can take
I think
the
it
call.
was Dennis.
I'll take care of it.
But I can pull it
I'll
up.
take care of it. That's tonight too. I have 2 other meetings tonight. And most of all, at Edenville is the chamber breakfast at 7 a.m. Friday. We know the speaker's going to be there. They are. So we hope to see you there if you get a chance. Come down to that. There's a thank you from the RESD Sparks program. Takes in lots of children and it's a good program and affects lots of thousands of children's lives. They will thank us for supporting them and with their program. Also, I have a veterans meeting today, and a person that's been on the board for a number of years, 19 years, is Joe White. He says it's time to retire and move on. So we want to thank him for his service, and I'm sure we'll have something going on over there today. So thank Joe for all his service. Also, we've lost another veteran, Korea, Button Township, Robert Lee Schaefer. Also, the 211 program, I think everyone got a sheet on that, the stats on that. It's a wonderful program, Northeastern Michigan. It's a 501c program. And it helps a lot with people that in need, that need heat or groceries or whatever they need, and they're referred through them. So, did everybody get this flyer? Or you didn't? I'm sorry if you didn't. We'll make sure you get it next time. I'll get it to you today so you can take it to your townships. I think that's all I have.
You mentioned you changed the time of the finance meeting.
I didn't get there.
Okay.
We know that the finance meetings we're going to start at 8 a.m. and not 8:30. And also, it's been working out good with the department heads and elected officials. We've been having them at 11. That's been working out great. And if there's a problem, let us know, and we'll work around that.
And that's after the first finance meeting of each year.
Right. Is there any other public comments? Sure.
Yeah, just probably 2 quick things. First, you may or may not know, but I'm doing some budget forecasting for the rest of this year, and it's only March. You don't have enough policemen to take care of Gladwin County from the sheriff's office. Telling you that from a budgeting standpoint, whether you have them on there doing police services 24 hours a day or not. We can't make the year based on where even some of our overtime is coming in right now to just have at least someone to respond. I just want to make the board fully aware that I don't have enough money to get to the end of the year. We'll get there, but I question highly whether we can go 24 hours a day. So there'll be nobody. As you know, we're the only law enforcement agency, so I want to make sure the board's fully aware of that. And secondly, on a lighter note, Commissioner Altman's new red shirt could be put to use tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
I'd like to, we are 11th lowest number of deputies in the state right now, all the 83 counties. And that knowledge hasn't been out there. But most of the counties are above in the UP, but Iosco County, for example, but they've got 3 major cities and federal land is one reason why they've got fewer deputies. But we're 11th in the state. And and I have been bringing this up at meetings so that everybody's aware of that we're pretty thin in public protection, public safety with the sheriff's department.
And we've been echoing the message to Representative Joel Johnson that we'd like to have some revenue sharing back, and they say we're going to, but believing and seeing is 2 different things. Also, the sheriff addressed a while back with him that instead of sending all this money and having academies for the state police, let's ship some of that money back here to the counties and let us use it for law enforcement here. And I understand that this last academy is going to Bell Island, where to relieve the state of the city of Detroit for some of their security to take and those and DNR officers to bring that money back or bring those officers back into the city. So that's nice, but it sure doesn't help us up here. So yes, you're Mr. Ball.
Just wanted to add a little bit in regards to Sheriff Shea's request. Economically, Michigan is getting a lot of attention. There's being a lot of money poured into Detroit, Flint, and a lot of the areas that we need economically, but also due to crime. I mean, we've got 3 or 4 of the highest crime cities in the country, and that really scares me because those criminals still exist. And when they get pinched and pushed out of those areas, where are they going to come? They're going to come to the areas with least protection, and I'm a little bit nervous about our area. But economically, there's tons of money being poured into our economy. All of our largest major manufacturers have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last year putting back into their company and investing in personnel really heavily. So we've got a lot of really good things happening out there. There's also a lot of little things happening with businesses being bought and sold. Beaverton RV, there's somebody occupying now the building on M18 where Sunseekers is. We've got somebody really interested in the building uptown, the old Kraus building. We've met with the MISTA, MADC, and several others to try to put that piece of the puzzle together. And there are 3 very interesting things going on in the industrial park, which could bring quite a bit of employment to our community. So the one thing that I really wanted to mention, though, is our website. We started in June, approved for some grant funds, but in the last couple of months we've completely redone the EDC website. And it is a phenomenal site with links to everybody, county government, city government, townships. We're linked to the hospital, linked to the schools. We've got an alphabetized listing of all the businesses that we thought we could put into this. Lists all the services of the EDC. We've got GladwinCountyEDC.org. So if you want to look up our website, www.GladwinCountyEDC.org. And one of the main things that we wanted to accomplish with this site is have some sort of site selection. So people from outside of our community interested in locating business here, they could get into our website and pull up a listing of all the properties for sale or for lease. And that part of the website is currently under construction, but we will have photos and all the very important details, height of walls, the electrical use, the water usage, the number of hoists and docks and all that stuff. So anybody from all around the world can get into our website and find what's available in our community. But there are businesses being bought and sold right now, so I see a lot of good things happening, and I'm encouraged about that. So thank you. Any questions at all for me? I've been following Mr. Burgle around quite a bit lately. Yeah, I won't say.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bob and I've been about, 4 different meetings together on the same program. So.
Yeah.
Any other public comments? Motion received.
Motion received.
I have. When I first became commissioner, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever, there was something that was very important to me, and then over the years it kind of got lost, and that is that our meetings are not readily available for our constituents in this county who are working during the day. And times have changed. I realized that back when Kathy Wilton was on the board, there was a trial done holding one commissioner meeting a month at night. I firmly believe, and I will make a motion, that we hold one regularly scheduled meetings and a night and an evening session. And which one, I think we need to discuss, because I don't know which one would be, you know, I don't know about when bills are paid or when finances work or, you know, the kinds of things. But I will make the motion that one of our meetings, beginning as soon as April, is held at night, at 7 o'clock at night.
One meeting for a trial, then we'll go from there.
Yes.
And as you and I have discussed, we have to make sure it doesn't interfere with the township meetings.
And I looked on the last Tuesday. There is, I believe, a Gladwin city meeting. But they have 2 city meetings a month, correct?
Right.
And that's the only, because I compiled that list of when meetings were. And the last, or, you know, the 4th Tuesday of the month.
Monday,
Pardon me?
Monday for the city.
Monday is the city.
Is that when it is?
Yeah, but I have a mental health meeting, but that's okay.
Okay, is the 4th Tuesday of the month, there are no township or city meetings. And so in looking at that, I thought perhaps that would be a good night. But I have made the motion that beginning in April, we, on a trial basis, that we hold one of our commissioner meetings at night.
So the last meeting of the month.
Yes, I
Because
think,
sometimes they're not always the 4th Tuesday,
okay,
so it would be the 2nd meeting of the month.
okay, the 2nd meeting of the month.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll support that.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That is, 20, that would be the 21st, and that is after Easter.
21st is a Friday.
It would be the next meeting would be
The 25th.
22nd.
22nd, the Earth Day. Be fine.
Now, and the trial period for this, Sharon, is,
Let's try it one time, and if it doesn't work, then we just right back to.
Well, you know, we might need to, if we're going to begin it, do it in April, there should be able to have enough
Advance notice.
advance notice. I think we ought to do it at least twice. But that would be, you know, a lot of things can happen, so I think it should happen more than once. And so I would amend it to say at least for 2 months meetings.
I believe we need to do it especially before the May 6th election.
Well,
I think it's a good idea during that time.
but I just, and Dennis supported it, so.
There are other considerations. There are meetings, other committee meetings that sometimes do fall in conflict with that evening time. The Fair Board, for example, the Michigan State Extension regional meetings. And there is a possibility of incurring additional costs because we would have to compensate our employees that would have to appear before the committee time and a half, I would think.
No.
In other words, an employee would be, could have to come to a meeting and not be in other words, if one of our non-elected has to come to, we don't comp them?
You also need
They're all elected officials,
Well,
other than our secretary.
And I talked to Amy, and she could come in, instead of coming in at 8:30 in the morning, she could come in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and that would be her day. Or, you know, I'm not, that's just a number I threw out there, but, and she said she's willing to do that.
In other words, my point is you can't make a decision like this in a vacuum because there are unintended consequences that could take place that we haven't.
well, I guess we have Mike and we have Ginny here, and they're 2 employees that aren't salary. If you came to a night meeting, would you come just out of your interest? You wouldn't charge for it. I mean, unless you were required to be here, and then,
That's the nuance. If they have to appear before the commission.
But that's something
That's
that we would know, because we have a daytime meeting, that if there were issues that would directly affect them, they could be scheduled for the daytime meeting.
My point is, we need to evaluate the reasons for, reasons against. Ben Franklin was my hero. but-
And one of the things is if we try it for 2 months, then it should show us what other things come into impact. So that's where I am.
It works for me. Okay, it's the motion on the floor that we take, and we're looking at the second,
Second meeting in
in each month
April and second meeting in May.
that we take and have a night meeting. And there's been a motion and support, all in favor?
Aye.
What time would that meeting be?
7?
7.
So the 22nd is at 7 PM instead of 9, 8. Right.
The 22nd of March or the 22nd of April?
They'll still stay on Tuesday, just like the
Yeah,
other.
they're on Tuesday.
Anything else? Motion received.
So moved.
Support,
I will.
motion supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Motion adjourned.
Support,
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you.